Hey, what's up guys? Little man with a big opinion here. In today's video, I'm going to talk about water. Uh, and the three main things I'm going to talk about water is storage, purification, and obtaining it. So, as a prepper, you hear all the time, you gotta have food, you gotta have water, you gotta have guns, and you gotta have a castle. Uh, and water storage does not have to be a bank busting endeavor. You can do it for fairly cheap. And what I mean by that is you can go as simple as storing these little guys. They are a cheaper, thinner plastic and it breaks down quicker, but you can store water fairly cheaply in these water bottles. And you can reuse the bottles even after you drank the original purified, mineral filled, whatever. A slight step up is saving your juice jars or your 2-liter bottles. Some people don't like to save the 2-liter bottles because it kind of has the aftertaste of the soda that was in it. I fill them up because the cats and the dogs don't seem to have an issue with it. And so I think this is like a 1.5 liter. It might be a gallon container, I don't remember. And then your standard 2-liter bottle of soda is 2 liters of water. The next step up to that, which is a little bit more expensive, is in the 5 to 8 gallon range. And that's storing these guys. This one is a 6 gallon. It's specifically made for potable water. That's why it comes in this, blue, gray ish container. And the prices on those vary between $7 and $15 at Walmart. We are having some technical difficulties because all of the cats and the dog want to say hi right now. But them jumping into the video is a perfect reason for why you should have water storage. Pets are an extension of your family. Some people idolize them more than their own kids. But the next step after the 5 to 8 gallon is a 55 gallon drum. You've seen it before in my videos. It's out in the garage. I'm not going to go out there. And you can get them for fairly cheap. And I think I picked mine up for $25. Cat wanted to jump on the coffee table, so that's why we got a little shakeage. But you can don't use the ones that have extremely harmful chemicals in them. Try to get the ones that had olive oil, ranch, stuff like that. I heavily cleaned out one of my 2 that had laundry detergent in it. It had boiling water put in it. And I did it till I got no more suds, and then I did it some more, and I bleached it, and I've drank from it. I don't seem to have an issue with it. But the other one I got had soy sauce in it originally. So I would also strongly suggest getting the ones that have a bigger, screw cap, and having a electric / hand pump. You don't want to rely on batteries to get the water out. A hand pump does wonders unless you DIY'd a spigot in the bottom of it, which I plan on doing that with the ones I purchased for setting up rain gutters. After that, you can go bigger. You can go with the tote storage, which is I think 250. I haven't seen very many of those used, at least in my area, but that's starting to get somewhat expensive. You can, as a 1 to 2 person household, you can get a month's worth of water stored up fairly easily in these guys. Something else I got for Christmas one time, and I think it's still in a box because I haven't unpacked anything, was a water bob. And it's just something that goes inside the bathtub. It's a very thin, cheaper plastic, and it goes in your bathtub, and you can fill it up from your spigot in the bathtub if you believe something's gonna happen. And the one that I got holds 75 gallons. Uh, Cats keep shaking the table, so we're gonna pause the video for a moment. All right, relocated to the bedroom because the cats were having none of me wanting to make a video. But water bobs are another fairly cheap option to pick as well, and they're a very proactive thing because most people tend to buy out the water, the toilet paper, the food before a hurricane where I'm at. And if you already have the water bob, then knowing, several days in advance for certain natural disasters like that, you can go ahead and top it off. And I believe the one I have also has a spigot underneath, so you can drain it that way if you use the water, if you don't, whatever. But water storage is important. You can go fairly cheap options. You can go a little bit more expensive, but still fairly cheap with those 5 to 8 gallon containers. And then getting 55-gallon drums are not as difficult as you think. I found mine on Craigslist. There was 5 or 6 people selling them. I checked out all of their inventories. The cheapest someone was selling them for was 20 a piece. The most expensive was 30. And as someone that is a fairly budget prepper, spending $30 for, if you were a single person, getting nearly 2 months worth of water, theoretically, I would say that's a fairly good deal. I will add, you want to empty and rotate it 4 to 6 months at a time. The water does get stagnant, and that's part of the reason why the rain gutter system is going into place, because we plan to use that water for the fruit trees that we recently planted and for plants and the dog and stuff like that. So the water, we won't have to just dump out 55 gallons, every 6 months because we haven't had a prepping need for it. So that gets me into the third thing, and that is obtaining the water. I've talked about wanting to put gutters on my house. What I've also done moving up here to a new place is I have located active water sources, including a lake, several ponds, a couple streams, a couple of seasonal streams that, if it rains heavily, then they'll have water in it. But if it's dry in the summer, they probably won't. And in your area, you should do the same. I would highly recommend everyone put in gutters and a water catchment system, because you at least know when it's raining, you're collecting some water. You don't have to, hoof it to the pond and bring back, 5 gallons at a time. That being said, if you live on a property that you can put in a well, or you already have water there, just make sure you have some sort of plan to secure it, not only from it getting contaminated. If it's the only pond in a 10-mile radius, it's going to attract everything wildlife because they know about it, and other humans looking for water will probably want to stop there as well. So, I only talked about storage and obtaining the water. So we do have a third one, and that is purifying the water. The cheapest and best option, which I have done pretty successfully, is the Sawyer Minis. They're $20 at Walmart to get just the filtration piece and a straw, and I think like an 8-ounce, deflatable sack for it, or water pouch. For $30, you can get one that has like a 32-liter pouch and a syringe that you could pull it out from the smallest crevices of water. And I think Walmart also sells them in 2 packs as well for like 35 or 40, so roughly the same price anyway. The life straws are $20 or 25. They're the same price as a Sawyer Mini, and they're only good for 3,000 gallons. Sounds like a lot, but when I tell you a Sawyer Mini is good for 100,000 gallons, if you're gonna spend $20 to get a water purification straw, go with the Sawyer Mini. I used it on what was supposed to be a 10-day camping trip, turned into a 5 because of issues and stuff, and we only used that. We collected it from a stream coming out of the ground. No issues. We only had one for our entire group, and it worked out great. The next step up would be getting something that could hold a lot more water. Lost my train of thought there for a second. The next step up would be the Berky water filter. They're fairly expensive, in the couple $100 range. You get 2 5-gallon stainless steel tanks. They put their filters in them, and you dump the water on the top, and as soon as it comes down into the bottom, it's safe to drink. Some people still recommend straining a lot of the dirt out so your filters last longer. Some people still boil their water, and some people also iodize tablets or bleach the water. But it is one of the top of the line water filters that you can do. That being said, I've also seen people take 5-gallon buckets and just purchase a spigot that they drill into it and the Berky water filters, because they just screw in. I think 3 of them go inside of each container, and they're a lot cheaper, doing a DIY project for yourself. I'll find a video of a guy doing that and put it in the link down below, because I watched it several years ago, and there's probably a dozen of them out there already. You could probably do the search yourself, but I'll save you a little bit of time. The last method is doing some sort of DIY water filtration yourself, whether that's just running it through a handkerchief and boiling the water, or you collect charcoal, sand, and pebbles and turn one of your 2 liters into a water filter. That's something that I can make a video on here soon if you would like that. Again, there's probably several dozen of them already out there, but water is important, not only for you, your friends, your family that you are prepping for. Also remember your animals when you're calculating your water storage. Knowing where the water is probably more important than being able to store it, because even if you could store 10,000 gallons, eventually you'd run out of that 10,000 gallons. And lastly, making the water safe for you to consume is also important. It's a trifecta or trifectae. It's a triangle of all of those things are important. If you have the storage but no water because you don't know where your ponds and lakes are, you can be screwed. If you know where the water is but you don't have a way to store it, that means you have to travel to that water source every day to consume it. And then you can have all the storage in the world and know where all of the water is you'll ever need, but if you don't have a way to purify it and make it potable and drinkable, then you're screwed. So all 3 of those things are important. Hopefully this video enlightened you. If it did, like the video and subscribe. If you have a friend or family member that would benefit from the information I talked about in this video, then share the video with them. Share. We are slowly going up in subscribers. Not that, this is a hobby for me, so I'll keep making videos for the 40 people that watch it. And leave your comments down below on a video topic discussion, skill that you would like me to showcase for my next video. If I don't get any suggestions, then I'll figure out something. Subscribe, because I make videos all the time, and I'll catch you in the next one.